I think there's more that I can say when it comes to Elon videos as to why I feel quite drawn to them, even though I feel like I'm just being led into believing into the same spirit that let me down in the first place. But I just think that it's because I am trapped. I am trapped. I'm surrounded by people who just can't believe that I'm God, and who snigger at the thought of it, or just completely don't think that whatever I believe is truth. I'm just one person with a belief, and other people's beliefs need to be taken into higher consideration because there's more of them than me. You know, that's how most people think. So I'm trapped because I'm surrounded by these people. I believe that there's a bunch of people who know, but I have no idea who these people are, and I'm furious at them. I'm angry at them because I don't. For 7 years, I lay on a bed going on about how Martin was going to come back and help me, and anyone who was watching my videos would have known that I was not telling the truth. I did not know the truth. I was not able to work out what the truth was, because every single day that did not happen. They never came. So obviously I had no ability to work out what the truth was. And then to think that there's a whole bunch of people that were just watching this happen, just letting me do this whilst just making videos and films, singing about me, singing about my pain, singing about how trapped I was, how in prison I was, how angry I was over it, and yet them just continuously doing it whilst not helping me, whilst not telling me the truth, whilst not actually coming to me. You know, I haven't just been held as a prisoner. I've been held in a prison by a bunch of monsters that seem to enjoy watching me suffer, watching me know that something, having false hope about something that's not going to happen. You know, I've gone through years and years and years and years of this fucking abuse, and I don't care about humans, because I feel like they're the ones that did this to me by giving such power to a book that is full of lies, and they weren't able to recognize that actually the bride wasn't going to be saved after 3.5 years. The bride wasn't going to be saved after 7 years. It's been 12 years. None of that happened. I have not been saved. I'm still in a fucking prison. I'm going to be in this prison until people stop giving power to this fucking spirit of lies, and stop pretending that they know anything about God when they do not. And I'm really, really angry over this. It's just, I've got so much anger over this. I've got so much anger over this that if every single person who worships a male god just dies, I really do not care. I've been living in a prison by people who, and I believe that there's a whole group of people, could be hundreds, could be thousands. I believe there's thousands of people who have been watching my videos, and for 12 years knowing that nothing was going to happen, and that I was just going to continuously lie on a bed talking about this false hope about someone fucking helping me when no one is fucking helping me. You know, to have to go through that for such a long time, and then know that there's going to be a point where I'm going to have to talk to people, and I'm going to have to explain why I've done nothing. And then I'm going to have the horrible experience of having to tell them that actually for the last 12 years I've been desperately trying to do things, but no one has wanted to help me. No one was wanted to tell me the truth, and they've just let me have these false lies and false delusions about how people were going to help me when really no one was going to help me. You know, I've had to live with that for a very, very long time. And then the idea of having people, why aren't you helping us? You know, I hate these people. I hate people. I hate people so much. I hate people so much. I have so much anger, and I feel like I'm so mentally depressed over this that I don't even know if it's a good idea to talk to these people, because I feel like I'm just going to be swearing at them and just saying, why the fuck should I help you? What have you done to help me? You know, I would love to know why so many people think that I would help them when they've done nothing to help me. And it's just weird, because if I tell people that I've gone through this, will they really still come and say, but you're God, why aren't you helping us? You know, would they really say that if they knew that actually I was trying to help people for a very, very long time, and everyone only ever called me, no, you're not God. You're not God. We're not going to work with you. We're not going to help you because you're not God. You're just lying. You know, I've had that for so fucking long. And I know that if I was to have conversations with religious people about why I'm God, the only thing they'll think to ask me is why I'm not helping them. Why am I letting people suffer and starve? Why am I letting this happen? Why do you think I'm letting this happen? Oh, because you're not a nice person. No, it's because I don't have the fucking power to feed them. I don't grow crops. I'm not a magician. You know, Like, I really, really want to have these conversations with people, but I've been wanting to have these conversations with people for 12 years, and not one of them has wanted to even talk to me. So the idea that I'm going to finally get some power after fucking 12 years of being abused by these people telling me that I'm not God, whilst they talk for God and claim to know things about me that they don't. And just, I don't know, my mental state is really not very good. And I want to talk to people. But I know that the anger that I have gained by being abused by the world for such a long time, it is going to be so extreme that I don't think I'll even be able to talk to them without just vilely swearing at them. And I don't know why this has happened. And I don't know why you're still ignoring me. I don't know how long you're still going to ignore me for. Because at this stage, I feel like you are just going to ignore me until the day I die, or the day that I commit suicide. I need help. I need help, and therefore I need to believe that there is someone out there that wants to help me. And I feel like I can't do that because I don't trust anyone. I feel like these people who I'm seeking help from are the same people who've been watching my videos for the last 12 years, watching me just go on and on and on about how Martin was going to come back to me, when really they were thinking, of course he's not. Maybe he's just some randomer that's just living in a nice big house, just enjoying his life, married with kids somewhere, and I've just been fantasizing about some completely ridiculous false lie. Maybe you've been watching my videos and just thinking, oh yeah, she's just waiting for God, the real God, who's a male, to come back. You know, I don't know what you've been thinking. It's like I'm constantly trying to work out what people are thinking, but I feel like everyone's thinking different things, and therefore if I'm thinking that you're thinking this, that, you probably are all thinking this, that. It's just... And I don't know who's thinking what, and I just, like, the level of frustration that I feel from having to go through what I've gone through is just so extreme that I've lost my mental and physical health because of it. And I don't know, I'm still alive. Because I'm still alive, I still need to believe that there is someone that's going to help. And, you know, if I actually met Elon in face-to-face, I would probably just be like, well, you're just one of the ones that were ignoring me. You're just one of the ones that didn't help me. You know, my life has still been shit and you didn't be there. So do I actually want to meet him? Do I actually want to be, no, probably not. But at the same time, I still need this belief that someone wants to help me, and therefore, you know, I'm listening to the videos and they sound nice, and I mildly trust the person, or mild, I don't know if I do or not, but I feel like they want to do what's best. The videos are convincing enough for me to believe that whoever's saying this actually cares about me, and I'm wondering if there's like a group of people who kind of want to see themselves as having some sort of marriage with me, and even though it's not the person who they're claiming to be, it's just the idea that there are people that actually want to help me and actually want to be with me is a really nice idea, because it's just like this spirit that's above me is just really, really powerful, and it knows the truth about me, but it also knows the truth about the majority of the world, which is that the majority of the world want to worship something different. And therefore I want to separate the difference between the few that can identify me as being God, the few that are able to recognize the amount of hatred that I now have because of the world being sort of controlled by this bubble of people's imagination, this thing that everyone wants to worship, which is just something that's all powerful, all amazing, loves them and does all that, and in reality I'm God, and I want like a land like Israel was formed. Israel was formed like a whole group of people where the Jews from all around the world were gathered, you know. So I watched a video yesterday where someone was talking about, you know, the British people, and the British people are being conquered and taken over, and you know that they're being destroyed by the rest of the world. And you know, I feel that way, but I don't consider, you know, the British people as being my people. I consider my people as being my people, and there's a group of people who can recognize that, okay, I am God, and I'm very powerful, but I'm not all powerful. I'm not almighty, and there's a very big difference. I can inspire songs, I can inspire films, and I feel like I can do that best when I believe that there's someone that cares about me. You know, I realized that this fictional thing that I was creating with Martin, this fictional relationship that I was inspiring everything. And okay, it might have not had anything to do with Martin, but it was my feelings for this, you know, this desire you have to have a partner that cares about you, to have a partner that treats you right, and you know, wants to seek you, wants to be with you, and I feel like this is perhaps how I was able to inspire all the films and inspire a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of people that are made in my image and they want what I want, and if I want a partner, if I want someone who looks after me, they'll all want it, regardless whether they're male or female. They'll all want a similar thing to me, but you can only feel it through the real spirit, my spirit, and the world seems to be creating this gigantic bubble of universal spirit, which wants things like a male God and Jesus to just come and rescue them, which I guess is part of my belief. I wanted someone to come and rescue me, and likewise they did too, but they rejected me, and therefore they just seeked after the things that they desire, and you know, forming a sort of fake relationship with Martin, and the belief that he did care about me, the belief that he did want to come back. You know, it made it. I felt like this was what the power was that was inspiring the films, this fake relationship I have, and I guess in the same way, that's how I feel now. Like the spirit or people, something is working in these people that is getting me to seek that same passion that I had. I mean, I'm finding it very hard to experience passion towards others because of my life. But the idea that there's others that feel this way towards me, it's reminding me of how nice that feeling is. And I know it's this feeling that can help inspire a lot of people and help put them on the right direction. So on one hand, I feel like these videos are kind of helping me gain this sense of bliss, that I think the bliss is the power that, you know, everyone seeks bliss. And even if you're a nasty person, you seek bliss, and if you realize that you being a criminal or hurting others is actually just taking you away from bliss, you know, it would stop you from wanting to seek those things, because you'd start realizing bliss is much better. So on one hand, I like this formation of bliss, and I can only feel this formation of bliss if I associate this person as being a real person. But it is complicated, because I know if the real person knew about me over the last 12 years, you know, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me that nothing was going to happen? You know, so I have this contradiction of wanting to believe that there's someone that cares about me. It cares about me enough to tell me the truth about when this change is gonna happen, when the world is gonna find out about me, when I'm gonna get my answers as to why so many people hate me, why so many people reject me, why so many people would just say, oh, you're just a delusional person, rather than think, you know what, there is actually intelligence inside of you, and you're not someone who just says delusions and speaks as if the delusions are the truth. I can be delusional, I can say a lot of things, you know, I can make up a big description about what all the aliens from different other planets are like, but I wouldn't present that as being the truth unless you are someone who wants to be lied to, in which case I'm glad you have that belief, and I'm hoping that belief will drive you to want to go through the nexus into the other world through death. You know, I don't know, but I know if I can get rid of too many people, there's too many people just seeking this universal spirit, this sort of consciousness of desire that everyone wants, and they're not focused on what's real. You know, there was another video that I saw where some spiritualist was going on about how harmonizing with the magnetic force around you, and this week is going to be very high and magnetic, and we're going to feel lots of hurricanes or earthquakes. You know, yes. Why does that make any difference? There's always earthquakes. Earthquakes always happen, and why does harmonizing with the magnetic force around you? I'm not a magnetic force. I mean, okay, I am in a way, but you have to actually recognize that God is a real person. Yes, spirit is a real person, and that I have common knowledge and common truth, and You've got to you've got to separate the difference between the sort of the mass delusion that people love and the actual truth of reality. And you know, I don't know why it's been so bad, and I just, there's so much that I want to say and ask people, and the idea of them just setting up some nice little town, set up a nice little town. I want my own country, basically. I'd love my own country where we do everything right, where we don't just take huge amounts of tax money away from the hard-working people to give it to foreigners just so that they can live in a home. But then again, if the reason why they're stealing is because their home, the money that they're getting only just about covers the rent, and therefore they're still left poor, hence they'll have to steal and stuff like that just to make up the extra, you know. I don't know. I don't like the idea of England getting messed up and destroyed, but parts of it have been messed up and destroyed, so it feels like it's already lost. You know, I don't want a world full of just 1,000 people. I want a world full of 1 billion, 2 billion people, you know. If I had a planet full of 2 billion smart people, that would be great. But yeah, for that to happen, there needs to be some sort of personal test where you can work out who are the best 2 billion and who are the worst 2 billion. Now, if you make some mistakes and some of the good ones go, well, it's fine, because when they get reincarnated, you know, they'll be the children of the best 2 billion. So losing some of the good ones doesn't matter. You know, if there's some older people who are 70 or 80 and they die naturally and they are a good person, you know, they will be the kids of the next generation. But yeah, what we don't want is for all the good ones to go and for the world to just be left with all the people that completely reject me, because then you will find that when these good ones get reincarnated, they will probably be brainwashed into Islamic beliefs and start getting confused again. So I want to be happy, and therefore the idea of there being a nice little town somewhere full of lovely houses and nice people, and then I can try and recover by trying to ignore the fact that for such a long time no one helped me. I don't know, but I've got a lot of recovery.